More gang, this David situation just keeps getting weirder by the day. And today I'm going to talk about a topic that might really blow your mind, because there's some people on the internet that are starting to point the finger at other people around this situation. And I spoke in a previous video about how it was very bizarre that it seemed like the 14-year-old girl, Celeste Hernandez, rest in peace, who was found deceased in the trunk of David's car, which was towed from near his house that he was living in at the time. That girl was sat in between his brother and sister at his performance at the Fonda Theatre, where his mother was also sat there next to them. And I said I was going to do a deep dive into his mum. But you know what I decided? I said, you know what? First off, I see a few comments that were pointing the finger at his dad. And I said, you know what? Let's take a closer look at David's father. And some of the stuff that I've seen actually is very, very shocking. Okay? You might come away from this video feeling like maybe David's father is looking out for him a little bit too much. Some people seem to suggest, in their opinion, that he's trying to help David. There's been a lot of talk about people trying to hide evidence. There's somebody that's still unnamed that we was originally hearing was apparently going to be called out and arrested because they wouldn't appear at the grand jury. Now, that was supposed to be a woman, but we've not heard anything more, and there's been speculation that it could have been David's mother. We don't know exactly who that is for sure. But when I show you some of the stuff that surfaced about David's dad, I think your jaw is going to drop. So let's just get into it, okay? Because this post was going around, and we've actually looked at this post before. This was a post that was going around about 12 days ago, okay? History lesson plus. When David, Celeste, Darkroom CEO, Mogul Vision, and David's family were all together at the Fonda Theatre in Los Angeles of June 2024. But there was a very interesting comment on this one, okay? Now, this is a post breaking down all the people that were there at the Fonda Theatre that day. Okay, and Ginny the Ween, not Jimmy the Ween on YouTube, but this is Ginny the Ween, a user on Reddit that has been meticulous when it comes to covering everything to do with David and all of this stuff that's going on. Now, this post is crazy, okay? It breaks down all these group photos where different people appeared, okay? It says David's parents and siblings were also photographed. There's a widely shared photo booth set of pics from the event that include David, his mother, his brother, his sister, Rob Morganroth, Josh Marshall, Rob's partner at Mogul Vision, Lane Cooperstein, and Rob's brother, Mike Zara, David's guitarist, and Rob's partner in Zara Brothers Travel. But there was a comment that really stood out. This is crazy. Someone said, I find it strange that after a long hiatus, at least of favoriting on YouTube, David's dad's first saved video is about Diddy parties. And somebody posted, apparently this is a picture of Dawood Burke. So his father, right? It's Dawood Burke, that's his name. He apparently has a YouTube account. Okay, apparently this has been associated with him. Okay, they're saying that he's basically liking videos about Diddy parties, saving videos about Diddy parties. He's got favorited videos that have Bible verses in, and when I show you this Bible verse, okay, and I show you some of the stuff that he was liking and that he was into, you're going to be very, very surprised. Okay, now. Look, let's just get to it. Okay, let's just get to it. So this is, I just want to make it clear what we're looking at here, okay? So this is a set of favorited videos from this account, and it's Lecrae spills the explicit truth about the Diddy party. It says, I was at the Diddy parties, okay? And then there's basically showing other things from his page, other videos that he's liked or favorited on YouTube. And particularly this video is basically a sermon, okay, that sounds oddly specific to David's situation. Okay, so I've got the actual video that this is here, which is one of the most recent favorites from David's father's account. So let's check this out. So there's basically a bunch of things in here. All right, this is his list of favorites. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't know you could see this. All right, I need to double check. Can you see my favorites? Is that a thing? But this is the title of the sermon. It wasn't a bad devil. It was a bad decision. All right, like very, very odd that's what you would. And interestingly, the comments are turned off, right? But is this kind of like a sermon that he is watching to basically get to the heart of like what's going on with his son, to kind of get some advice, to get some support? So this is a part of that sermon, okay, that some people feel is actually mirroring or at least like referencing all the situation that David's going through. So this is basically a sermon that his father has favorited, and this is the contents of it that apparently relates to what David's got going on.
You do Read.
And the woman said,
The woman said,
the serpent beguiled me.
it was the devil that made me do it.
And I did it. I did eat.
I ate of it. Read. And I did eat. That's the 13th verse. The serpent beguiled me and I did eat. He said, Adam, did you eat of that tree? Woman, what have you done? Adam said, the woman did it to me. The woman says, it was the devil that caused me to fall. But tonight we're going to take some accountability for our own actions. Look at somebody and tell them, neighbor, it wasn't a bad devil. It was a bad decision. That's what I want to talk about tonight, because some people trying to figure out how they got where they are, and you want to blame somebody. I come to tell you tonight, it wasn't a bad devil, it was a bad decision. Sometimes I don't think we understand the power of a single decision. Just one. Just one. We don't realize how one decision, just one, it doesn't take a series of events. Just one decision can change your whole life. Sometimes that decision changes you for the better. But there's a result for everything that we do, and you've got to know that.
So he's saying that that you can take a one-time decision in your life and it can change everything for the better or for the worse. Now, when your son's going through is having a dead body found in his car and has become the most Googled man on the planet, okay, it's a pretty serious bad decision, I'm not going to lie. But the fact that this was his last favorited thing is kind of telling, okay? And there's another segment in here that is apparently quite interesting that relates to the case. Listen to this.
The Bible says she looked at the fruit. It was good. The Bible said for food. It was pleasant to the eye and to be desired to make one wise. Lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. This stuff been going on since the beginning. That's why the Bible said all that is in the world. Look at y'all. This is what the world got. Everything the world can offer you will find itself in one of those categories. The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, or the pride of life. That's all that's in the world. The problem is, it is not of the Father. I don't care how Satan dresses it up. It is not of the Father. And sometimes you just forget about what God said. You looking at all this other stuff. You're following people. Your friends are dictating how you serve the Lord. Listen, get your eyes off of all of that stuff and bring it back on the Word of God. What did God say? I'm not choosing my actions based on my friendships, my kinships. I'm choosing actions based on finances. I want to know what God got to say about it. Lead me to the Word and show me what God's got to say.
He's talking about people making mistakes, lust of the flesh. I mean, I don't even want to say too much, right? But like, he was supposedly lusting after this underage girl, and then she ends up being found dead in the back of his car. And then you're favoriting this video. Now, look, there's a lot of other stuff in this video, okay? I'll play you a little bit more, but like, it is wild, okay? It is wild. And it's very interesting that this is the stuff that David's dad is kind of sitting there kind of watching and favoriting and broadcasting. I don't know if he knows that this is a public playlist, but obviously we're going to get to the other video in here that's about the Diddy parties too, and it's not going to be a good look.
Started listening to the voice of the enemy. The first mistake she made was not rebuking anything and everything that was a compromise to the commands of God. And can I tell you, anything that comes to you that is a compromise to the commands of the Word, you have the responsibility to rebuke it.
Now, I don't know if he's watching this in terms of thinking about himself and thinking about rebuking his own son for the things that he's done, or whether he's thinking about from the perspective of his son that maybe should have made better decisions and, you know, rebuked some of these sinful behaviors that he's talking about, right? It's a very, very interesting video to have posted on your favorites. I'm not going to lie. All right, so the other video that was on his favorites, all right, and it's quite a long set of favorites, okay, there's a lot of things we could get into, but the other video that was on his set of favorites, okay, was this video of Christian rapper Lecrae basically exposing the explicit truth on Diddy parties, exposing the truth about Hollywood industry parties, and it makes you wonder, all right, was David's pops looking at these things, trying to get an understanding of the types of parties that his son was going to, maybe the types of parties his son was throwing, who knows, all right? Was this what Dawood Burke was actually looking into? Let's hear what was discussed in this interview that was very, very interesting.
There are people who will test you. There are people who will see how far your limits are. And if you're willing to take a step, then they'll take two. I, in my personal experience, never saw anything where someone was like, you can't move any further unless you do X, Y, or Z. But what I did see was, if you do X, Y, or Z, well, keep coming, because you're, and that's how we all are. It's Psalm 1, right? It says, blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, who does not stand in the way of sinners, who does not sit in the seat of mockers. You start walking, they gonna walk with you, and now you find yourself standing. They like, oh, you stand? Well, if you stand, come sit. Now, next thing you know, you're sitting. And so it was never a situation where I felt forced to sit. It was a situations where I was asked, do you stand? Do you stand? And I'm like, I don't stand. Oh, okay, cool. And then I was left alone.
Do you stand? Nah, bro, I ain't a fruitcake. I done told you already. Like, what about me makes you think that I'm into that? Like, it's crazy. Why is it always got to be like sexual stuff? How come that's always got to be like the barrier of entry when it comes to these like Hollywood situations? Is it just that many perverted people who are running things in Hollywood that it's always got to be this sexual stuff? You know what I'm saying?
So Lecrae's basically describing these Hollywood parties and these Hollywood pressure programs, basically saying, look, I've never been told you will not get ahead if you don't do these things, but if you fall in line and do some of these things, you might start getting ahead. It's an unspoken rule in the industry. And he would go on to explain more of the sordid backstory of how Hollywood supposedly actually works. The Hollywood that David was apparently part of when this all went down.
I came out the studio, started going upstairs. And on my way upstairs, there's like this couch. I won't say how the couch is designed, because then that may give away whose party and whose house this was. There was a couch. And on the couch, I saw a couple of guys really going at it hard and heavy. And and I was like, oh. My brain, I'm thinking, well, the celebrity party, people do what they do. As I started moving upstairs, I passed them up, and I noticed that it wasn't just those two guys. It was more and more people just going at it. I was like, okay, it's time for me to roll. I'm going to grab my stuff, and I'm going to get up out of here. I did not know that's how this went down. So was that shocking? Absolutely. Was I forced or coerced into anything? I was not. But why they felt that comfortable, I don't know. Maybe the invite list, they was like, yeah, all these people, I don't know. I'm shocked that it went down. But I've been to another situation, another person's party, celebrity party, and, a celebrity tapped me on my shoulder, and I was hanging out with them, and they was like, yo, nephew, you might want to go into the other party, because this cabana, we about to close it up. And they closed up the cabana, and there was about 3 or 4 big name artists in there, and
I ain't gonna lie, who be calling people nephew? There's a couple man, and you'd be calling people nephew out here.
A whole bunch of ladies start walking in that cabana, and a security guard stood in front of the door. Hey, they didn't coerce me. They didn't ask.
That had to miss Snoop Dogg. Who else gonna walk up to you and say, hey, nephew? That had to miss Snoop. Bro, I can't, listen.
I wasn't even thinking Snoop. But hey, he's saying could have been Snoop. But it's interesting, right?
Listen. How come it's always got to be like sexual stuff when it comes to Hollywood? We always hear about, oh, so-and-so had to do this, thing with so-and-so, this top producer or this top executive in order to get this movie role. Or so-and-so, had to do this in order to get this, this feature on so-and-so's album or whatever like that. It's always got to be like sexual stuff is the barrier of entry.
So they're explaining how this Hollywood stuff works, right? So look, I want to just take a step back. Okay, let's go all the way back to the start, because if this is the kind of stuff that David's dad Dawood is watching, okay, and favoriting, he's trying to get a deeper understanding of the Hollywood parties, how this works. He's trying to get a deeper understanding of maybe what might drive somebody, what might tempt somebody into this sinful behavior that he's being exposed for. And it's very, very interesting, okay, that he would be favoriting this publicly. Now, okay, before we go any further, let's just look a little bit closer into Dawood Burke, all right? This is his YouTube, okay, To Be Like Jesus, all right? He's got his own channel, All right, Dawood Burke. Okay, he's got his favorite preachers. All right, favorite things that he's seen, his favorites. This stuff's all public. Before you say I'm digging too deep, he's got his public favorites and he's got his own YouTube channel. Okay, his uploads are a little bit unusual. All right, there may be just some personal stuff. Shaolin Kung Fu Academy of Houston. Don't tell me this. Don't tell me this David doing kung fu. Wait a minute. I don't know is this him. I ain't gonna lie. I gotta watch what I say. If he's got moves like this, I might need to watch what I say. Okay, I might need to watch what I say. This is 11 years ago. He's got that southern fist, man. If that's him, he doing his thing. He out here doing kung fu. This is like David. I need to make a meme that's like David fighting the allegations, like bah, 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 bah. Dodging the allegations, dodging the prosecutors, dodging the arrest, dodging the grand jury, like wah, wah, wah. Okay, this isn't a laughing matter, okay? Let me change tone, all right? But seriously, sometimes I can't believe what I'm seeing with this stuff, okay? He's a preacher who loves kung fu. He loves to preach and fight, all right? I might need to watch out for Dawood. But anyway, okay, he's got his favorite preachers. He's got his videos that he's uploaded. He's got all of his favorites there. That's there for everybody to see, okay? Now, shout out to the David Files on Instagram, okay? He's been preserving like a lot of the content related to David, to his family, to the people around him, and we're all just trying to get to the bottom of it, right? But they're saying that this is David's, the church is a concert, and now the pastor has groupies, all right? I don't know, but they're saying that this is actually David's father on his preacher stuff, okay? And look, I'm not going to pass judgment, but let's just hear what he had to say.
And it's full of superstars. The pastor is a celebrity and has an entourage wherever he goes. Groupies want to be in a circle, and the best seats in the church are reserved for Hollywood superstars and divas. Something wrong. The church looks like a concert now. And it's
now look, he's kind of calling out other preachers, right? Other sermon leaders, and basically saying that, you know, nowadays with these mega churches and these super famous preachers, it's like the preachers have become superstars. They become celebrities. They've got groupies following them around like they're singers. Ironic, okay, when David himself is actually somebody who has a bunch of youngsters worshiping him on the stage at concerts, all right? And I believe this is the full-blown oh boy. This is the full-blown sermon, all right? We ain't going to go through this. This ain't too interesting for us, okay? It's got 106 views. We really in the deep, dark depths of the David Files right now, okay?
And the Lord said unto Moses, Go get thee down for thy people, which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt.
So, interestingly, all right? Interestingly, David himself, right? Young David, not Dawood. In an interview, he actually explained the backstory of his parents. He explained that his father was actually a litigator, worked in the legal profession, and that his mother was previously a teacher. So he has spoken publicly about the things that his parents have been involved in over the years. Okay.
What are your parents like? Are they musicians?
Not at all. My dad is a litigator for a law firm. My mother was a teacher back in. She doesn't do it anymore, but she does notary now.
You know, when your dad's an attorney, your mom's a teacher, I feel like the last thing you'd want to do is have a kid that's a musician.
Have a kid that's a what? That's a musician.
Dude, it was the craziest thing because it wasn't even supposed to.
When your dad's a litigator, the last thing you would want your son to be is a musician. A musician. Now, we've got Dawood Burke's LinkedIn up here, okay? His public LinkedIn up here, and he is listed as a litigation support manager at Troutman Pepper Locke LLP. All right, that is a law firm, okay? He apparently incorporates methodologies that increase efficiency, reduce cost, and enhance proportionality for case teams and clientele. His experience, expertise, and understanding of the realm of e-discovery. Remember that for later. E-discovery and FRCP. FRCP means Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, basically documenting. See here, it says, the purpose of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure is to secure the just, speedy, and inexpensive determination of every action and proceeding. Okay? I guess it's like how court cases and things run. Okay? His understanding of e-discovery and those processes enable him to effectively serve his clientele and serve them well. He's a proficient and certified in the major litigation support platforms in the industry. Okay, he's getting active, right? Litigation support manager, advisor, client data solutions, technology. He's on the technology side of the law, and that's very, very interesting, okay? Technical litigation support. Litigation support project manager. So he's not up in court arguing. He's got a bachelor's of business administration and computer information systems. He knows, he's good with computers. Let's put it that way, okay? Let's put it that way. And what I'm going to tell you at the end is going to blow your mind, okay? Now, obviously, we're seeing him preach. We're seeing him liking a whole bunch of preachers on YouTube. David would tell People magazine that he grew up in a Christian household under strict supervision. Okay, where did it all go wrong? This is in a People magazine article. Okay, it says David, who was raised Christian, said he was a bit of a late bloomer. He wasn't allowed to listen to secular music until he was 13. Once he discovered mainstream artists, his mind started going crazy. My mom was big on like, you're going to be the smartest kid in the world. You're going to be a genius. Listen to Mozart. Listen to Bach. Listen to Beethoven, he recalls. Then in the 6th grade, he secretly downloaded SoundCloud and polluted his mind with all of the crazy shit that was going on over there. He said, I had to hide it from my parents because my parents would check my phone every week to make sure I was staying on the right track. I found XXXTentacion, Smoke Perp, Lil Pump, Ski Master Slump God, Playboy Carti, Lil Uzi. It was like only eating M&Ms your whole life and then figuring out that Skittles existed. When he started making music, he felt isolated and like he wasn't living the life. So he would turn to his online friends to tell them about their experiences. I lived through them and told their stories. We've heard that before. Okay. He said his parents are supportive. Now, apparently, at just 11 years old, David suddenly moved from New York to Houston, Texas. Okay. And a potential reason for this sudden shift out of nowhere is referenced in his track. Okay, a song that he made called 2016. This is a reference to the year when this happened. It's from his Withering project. So I'm not the same kid I was in 2016. I was young, I was dumb. Now I overthink things that I couldn't. You wouldn't believe what I did as a kid back in 2016. And a lot of people have wondered what he was doing in 2016. Could be something innocuous, or it could be something super fucked up. What could he have done that made his family want to separate him? He ended up being homeschooled, right? Once time went on, whatever he was doing in 2016 was wild. It says David's jokingly made videos on TikTok and YouTube with the captions, everybody listening to Justin Bieber in 2016, followed by me listening to Rolex by AO and T.O. In these videos, David is reminiscing on the songs he used to listen to back in 2016 and giving promotion for the song that at the time hadn't been dropped yet. However, in another track of his, What's Real, he would hint that there may have been a more serious reason for the move in 2016. This is the track What's Real. Unreleased track scrapped from the 2025 album Withered. Okay, and this basically would allegedly have a little something on it. It said, November 2016, I was selling at the high school. Nobody ever caught me, but I spoken too soon. In the back of a police car, I forgot whatever I knew. I ain't telling nothing. Do the same if they ask you about... Who's he got around him that he's telling them not to say anything? Is he talking about something that happened in 2016? Is he talking about something that happened recently? Talking about you were one of my best friends and I miss you so much. Okay. Looking through the junk mail, seeing if I can try and find you. Baby said she forgot me. Do I need to come remind you? I don't know. I wonder what he's talking. I wonder what he did in 2016. So apparently after settling down in Texas around age 13 or 14, this was when this very bizarre, unexplained incident happened that changed the trajectory of David's life forever. So when he was about 13 or 14, his parents pulled him out of traditional school, and apparently this was for not paying attention.
Okay.
It was supernatural. I've been writing poetry since I was in 5th grade. I had a poetry journal my grandmother gave to me, and I would never pay attention to school. That's like the whole reason why my parents homeschooled me when I hit 8th grade. But yeah, I was writing short stories and comic books since I can remember. And I was really good at drawing at one point too. I would write like a comic a day.
So look, there's not too much of it, right? He said he didn't pay attention in school. He was pulled out of school. And in his mini documentary, he actually would reveal that discipline and religion continue to play a major role in his upbringing. No doubt his overly religious father putting that religion on him, maybe in between them kung fu sessions. Who knows?
Emails from the record label.
Good-hearted guy. I'm not trying to put his dad down. He seems like a good-hearted guy. It seems like David was a troubled kid. He was trying to put those positive influences on him, that discipline on him, that religion. And, you know, who knows if that really got through to him the music is very dark and it's very demonic. Interesting, right? So he's talking about even the people around him, they're seeing this like weird energy in him. They're like, I wanted to ask him, I didn't really feel like I could ask him about that. What's going on with him being homeschooled? Like, what's that all about? And then he's kind of saying this transition from public school to homeschool, he says it's tragic. He says this was a really difficult thing for him to go through.
Tragic. I thought I had a lot of friends in middle school, and then after being homeschooled, nobody's hitting me up, nobody's asking me like, where am I at? Why am I not coming to school today? It made me question like, what is a real friend? And do I have any of those as well?
Right, pay attention to that, because he's talking about, oh, I left school, I got homeschooled, my parents took me out of school, all the people that I was at school with stopped hitting me up, and then he's talking about basically like, yeah, then I started connecting with people on Fortnite, started to make more closer connections with people on Fortnite. Now, the rumor is that it was on Fortnite where he met an underage Celeste Rivas-Hernandez. Now, we don't know if that's fully confirmed yet, but that's been rumored for quite some time. And it does make you wonder, like, what was going on with this kid? They pulled him out of school. Maybe it turns out, ironically, that these mollycoddling parents that are like, oh, we're going to take the kid out of school, we're going to homeschool him to keep him away from these demonic influences, or, you know, not paying attention in school, when really you're isolating this kid from real human connection day to day in school, and he's seeking it out elsewhere on Discord, on Fortnite. Like, and then he's meeting these weird people, having these strange relationships. I don't know. Clearly that wasn't a good move. The choir being part of the church and the gospel music, that was a big influence for him. Like, it's ironic considering how everything's turned out now. And really the music was very dark. It was very demonic. There's a lot of talk about death and destruction and murder. Whether or not that reflected things that were going on in real life, it's yet to be seen. But we are basically finding out all of these influences on his life, and maybe some things didn't pan out the way his parents were hoping for. Now, what's interesting is his parents basically say they were initially hesitant about his music career, but once success came, once money came, his father was proud, and his mother was trying to emphasize that he needs to maintain his morals going to Hollywood. No wonder when his father's watching, you know, breakdowns of people like Lecrae talking about crazy Diddy parties and how out of control Hollywood gets. So his mum said, you know, keep your heart pure, don't change your morals. Now, it's unclear what his morals were. You know, he said he wanted to make music that had impact on people and things like that. Now, according to an artist called Santi, who collaborated with David early in his career, David was extremely religious at first, but that would eventually change. I'm not going to lie. We're seeing a lot of kind of pseudo-satanic imagery in his music going forward. This anime, very dark anime, people getting cut up, people's bodies getting put in trunks. It doesn't seem like he stuck to those morals. It doesn't seem like he stuck to those religious beliefs.
Welcome to Tea about D4VD. It's Santi P, and I will be telling you everything that I know, because this is somebody that I used to talk to and somebody that I was cool with before they got famous. D4VD, yes. It all started whenever I hit him up on TikTok. I had an old Instagram page. I can't show you the messages. I wish I could, but I have other stuff that I can show you. Here, I'm going to pop up his number, not his real number, but I have his number right here. He also has me added on Snapchat. We're friends. There's been times that we've talked. I just never saved the chats because why? And we have a song together. I'm going to pop up the song right now.
We get the gist.
During his band lab days, he had a whole group chat with all of us, and he gave us like all his band lab presets, and I used to talk to him all the time. He was all about God, real Christian, and that's all he would post about all the time, and he'd thank God, and next thing you know, he got signed. And then after he was signed, he kind of just drifted away from it, and he hit me up one time, and he had to get our song deleted from all platforms. So it was only left on SoundCloud, and then he wanted to delete it off SoundCloud, but I didn't delete it off SoundCloud. I left it. And then he just kind of stopped posting about God and never did it again, really. And then he kind of changed up his whole style, and the next thing you know, all this has happened. Welcome.
So he's basically saying he used to be super religious. He used to post about God all the time. And then at a certain point, he stopped posting about God. He stopped posting about his religion. He switched it all up. Now, what's interesting is in April 2023, that's when David moves to Los Angeles. And this is basically the first time in his life that he's actually out of his parents' supervision. And this is when you're hearing these Discord messages going around of him basically announcing he's in LA. This is February 2023. All right. He's talking to people on Discord. He's making friends on Discord. Okay, maybe people that he shouldn't be hanging out with. People are saying, are you in London? He says he's in LA. Hop on Fortnite, they're saying. All right? He's still in touch with all his Fortnite people. They say, why are you going to London? You got shows in America. So I'm moving to LA in April, guys. Who lives here? People saying, be my e-kitten. He's mine. Maybe keeping a relationship ain't bad after all. These MF detectives, I got you. Don't mess with me, I swear. All right? He getting his independence all of a sudden. Him saying, I could buy you on God. I literally am there. So all of his little Discord hanger-oners, right? They would be potentially getting their chance to link with David. Who knows, man? Who knows, right? Who knows? Okay. So I don't know much about his life. I only read that he grew up in Houston, Texas. I was curious to find when he could have possibly met Celeste IRL. She lived in Lake Elsinore, which is 2 hours away from LA. So I found his messages from the server about him moving and wanting to meet someone from there. I feel like this could be important to the timeline. On February the 17th, 2023, he was in LA, possibly performing, and the same day he announced that he's going to move to LA in April. He asked to find him a girl from there. Obviously, fans started responding, including a deleted user who also posted a snap from him. We don't know for sure if the deleted user is Celeste, but it could be her, right? It says the snap she shared from him literally says he could buy her. Oh, that's sickening, right? People saying, I think they were already in touch back in 2022. But yeah, from that timeline, they were seeing each other in 2023. It says, yeah, they were at least chatting online in 2022 based on the Discord messages, but there weren't any pics of them together from that year. So from what I assume, they could have met in person in 2023. All right. Now, nearly a year later, okay, David's parents will be seen attending one of his shows and attending that. It would be that Fonda Theatre show, and that's when they're spending time around Celeste. So it's like just over a year. This is like June 2024, I believe. Okay. And basically, this is Celeste's deleted video. Okay. And how everyone around David knew her. So that's a picture of her. This is that picture of her going backstage. This is June 27th, 2024, 10:12 p.m. All right. Same black hoodie. David's brother taking her backstage. The family knew her. Celeste with David's family up there. Celeste, black hoodie and pink leggings by the stage. Celeste TikTok post during the Fonda Theatre time frame. People saying that could be her. Celeste TikTok post during the Fonda Theatre time frame. That's on the YayWoohoo7 TikTok account, okay, that's been associated with her. They're saying this is Celeste's TikTok backstage at the Fonda Theatre. These ones are pretty damning, I'm not going to lie. Like, these ones are actually pretty scary. Like, what you do, like, if that's really the underage girl that was found in your trunk, this picture is going to need explanation. But you don't see her face, so it might not be. Who knows? There could be a good excuse, but it is actually a really bad look. Okay, and this is Celeste allegedly making a post in David's Discord backstage. This is backstage at the Fonda Theatre. It's been proven. This is like backstage photos, basically proving that this is backstage at the Fonda Theatre. There she is going backstage. All right. More pictures. This is Celeste with David at the Hollywood Hills mansion. He's got a Hollywood Hills mansion. He's been homeschooled. He's connected with this underage girl. It's all a really bad look. Okay. And there's people from his label. They're all meeting up. They're all there. It's just no good. All right. And I'll read you what this post says. It says, we've seen a backstage video from the Fonda Theatre in LA showing Celeste together with David's brother. At first, it looks like only his brother is leading her through the backstage area, but in the first few seconds, you can see her holding hands with another person, David's little sister. Interestingly, there's also photos from David's show where you can see all of them, including David's mum sitting together in the venue. David performed at the Fonda Theatre over 3 nights in June 2024. 27th to 29th. The backstage video of Celeste with David's siblings and the pictures of them sitting together were from June 27th, 2024. Interestingly, Celeste also posted different photos on her other Instagram account, Hello Kitty Life Girl, and on TikTok, YayWoohoo7, with David tagged in her post. There were also pictures posted on her TikTok showing her with David covering her face. Some people have argued that it's not Celeste because she had straight red hair instead of her usual black curly hair. However, we know that she has red hair. We saw her at one of the influencer Nor's birthday parties with dyed red hair, wearing David's bandana, a ring, and a bracelet, which she's posted wearing multiple times. She's also shared several pictures of her red hair with a red ink tattoo, so it doesn't seem like a coincidence at all. Celeste also posted a video of her with David in one of the Fonda Theatre's dressing rooms on a different day, possibly June the 28th or 29th. And in this video, she was wearing a different outfit, grey sweatpants and a grey hoodie. She deleted the video. What did I do? She deleted the video, but you can see it's the same dressing room as her alien face TikTok post with David in front of a mirror. Not to mention, she also posted a backstage picture in David's Discord showing them sitting on the stairs. This suggests that she was with David multiple days at the Fonda Theatre. Okay, my mouse is speeding up and slowing down for some reason. Okay. Steve Fisher also said there's no proof that Celeste was living in or even staying at the mansion. However, Celeste posted several pictures of herself with David on the mansion on her Instagram. At the Fonda Theatre, there was a photo booth, and this basically talks about all the people from the label that were there, but I'm really interested in his family, his dad, and all that stuff. Okay, so we don't need to see all that. Basically, this is a complete failure by everyone who knew she was spending time with David, yet did nothing. She'd been reported missing multiple times, and still nobody, not friends, not management, nor for action, nor family, took any action or confirmed her safety. All parties should be held accountable for this unacceptable negligence and for knowingly allowing the situation to continue. When you look at what happened to Celeste, it's impossible to ignore how many people let this happen, okay? The excuses by people around them that they didn't know she was that age are buffoonery. There's no freaking way anyone saw this face and thought she was an adult, okay? His brother was almost her age. They definitely knew. And they're saying she was holding hands with a sister. I ain't gonna lie. That is crazy, okay? All these people knew Celeste was a child and supported in his PDF life, no matter what they all try, which way they all try and excuse it. That's what this comment's saying. Also, my assumption regarding David's family, I just see it very weird and sheltered David, that he spent his whole upbringing behind a computer and preferred it that way, and homeschooled, was probably very spoiled and got what he wanted. In my opinion, I can see how his weird younger brother also is, and especially his mother. They all piss me off. Plus, David is so small with a big ass head, even attracted to children's things like Hello Kitty. Those star pimple stickers be for real. I'm sorry for my rant, but I'm baffled that this man is not in jail, nor does anyone but our strangers on the internet seem to care, because they were all paid to stay quiet. Just a mum entertaining her 20-year-old son's 13-year-old girlfriend. It's insane that everyone was fine with it. The music industry is just disgusting. Rich people are disgusting in general. Saying, sadly, I think David's going to get away with it. No one with power even cares, not even her fucking parents. I agree, this is so sad. They're praying for justice, okay? It's actually crazy. It's actually crazy that they were... that the family were there with her. It's the family, okay? The family, the parent. What are you doing with this underage girl? So I'm going to just show you a couple more things, okay? I'm going to show you a couple more things. Now, I'm not inferring anything by what I'm about to say. I'm just going to tell you two things next to each other, and you can decide what they mean, okay? After Celeste's body was identified, okay, there was allegedly a coordinated mass deletion of just anything on social media related to the people connected to this, okay? That includes, all right, the original Discord, the David Discord. A bunch of stuff got deleted from the original David Discord, all right? There was also, okay, David, Neo, and Asia's social media accounts, all right? Like their Twitch accounts, just deleted absolutely everything. Do you remember when David did that stream with Celeste? He said, delete everything. Delete everything, all right? And everything was deleted. Ain't no Asia videos on her channel no more. Ain't nothing on Neo the Asian's Twitch no more. Ain't nothing on here. Now, there are a few little things left over on David's own Twitch, but it's few and far in between, okay? It's few and far in between. If you go all videos, no videos are found, all right? No clips. Where is this? Top all time. Let me see. Maybe I'm just not the best at searching this. All videos. So how much content is actually still here? See, why does all video... If I go clips all time, there's clips left, okay? And they said delete everything, but there's a few things still here. I'm not going to lie. There's a few things... I ain't going to lie. There's more here on David's one than I was thinking there were going to be.
The way that person joined the game only to comment that? I know.
See, he's got, you know, he's got girls in the crib. I wonder what date this was. Everybody in the crib, like David crib, we going into the basement. Is this in his crib? No way is this in his crib. Wow.
So we got some arcade games.
Oh my god!
And this is the camera. Yup. Chat, what we think?
Wait, so where's the chat? Right here? Oh, here.
Basically, it was on my phone. You can see it on the phone.
Wait, shut up. There's another camera out there.
Yup.
Yo!
It's lit.
Wait, where's the camera? Right here. Oh, this is so cool. Thank you so much. This is awesome.
Alright, so basically, let me power this
Okay, Dance Revolution.
He was getting busy on Twitch with the ladies. I'm not going to lie. He was getting busy on Twitch with the gal them. But look, there's a bunch of these left. I ain't going to cap. I wasn't even expecting to see this much. I'm going to have to do a whole video digging into this. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to have to just watch through all of these in a video. Okay, but there's still stuff on here. All right, there's still stuff on here. But look, there was a lot of stuff, and I'm sure the only stuff left here is stuff that's a good look. All right, I'm sure delete everything is not here. These are actually, I'm surprised the amount of clips that are here. I'm not going to lie. This is actually a shocking amount of clips. We're seeing 9 months ago, 2 years ago. Is he don't tell me he's at Drake's house. Are you talking about he's at Drake's house? Are you talking, is he actually, no way is he at Drake's house. Is he at Drake's house? Wait a minute. It's got to be cap. It's got to be cap. It's glitching now. That's glitching. That's his own house. Like, let's not let him get us copyrighted over here, right? But look, He was active, okay? He was active on there, all right? So this was 3 months ago, right? Once this news first started coming out, it was claimed that there was an admin deleting a whole bunch of messages from the server. Now, all I want to say is they're saying that this Xerxify person is the person deleting all the messages from the server. Now, there are people saying, imagine being this stupid, as if Discord just loses access to this expensive-ass data you're attempting to wipe. Cops are going to see this and get access to these logs. This is self-admitted guilt by some staff, in my opinion, okay? You could definitely argue that this is destruction of evidence, more like obstruction. Now, I'm not suggesting that there's any involvement, okay, but all I'm trying to say is that I think it is information, okay? They're saying the admin of that Discord is about to get implicated in the crime. It would be interesting, right? If there's a bunch of incriminating stuff on your Discord server, okay? If there's a bunch of incriminating stuff on your Discord server, I'm about to show you something that's going to blow your mind. Honestly, I'm about to show you something that's going to blow your mind. Now, look, I'm going to look at this one thing, okay? Not sure if this is entirely... If this is what I ain't going to lie, this next thing is actually insane. So you remember when I told you David's dad is basically, he works in e-discovery, electronic discovery, in litigation, in the law, in the legal world, right? He's basically involved in e-discovery. Whether or not you're able to find electronic information in litigation for cases, for trials, I would assume more, you know, civil matters, you would hope, right? But he works for Troutman Pepper Locke LLP full-time as a litigation support manager. He's an expert in e-discovery. Okay, he has extensive expertise in e-discovery, in the realm of e-discovery. Well, there is now a post going around on the Dave Idiot subreddit, okay? And I can't 100% confirm everything about this post to be exactly... Look, we're just going to have to take this with a pinch of salt. But they're saying over on Dave Idiots that David's father is actually working in electronic discovery for the same law firm that is managing the Jeffrey Epstein estate. Okay? He's working for Troutman Pepper Locke LLP, and this says Troutman Pepper Locke, okay, represented by the co-executors of the estate of Jeffrey E. Epstein in dozens of lawsuits, all right, filed in various federal and state courts. It says Dawood Burke is a litigation support manager at Troutman Pepper Locke, the law firm that's a co-executor and manager of the Jeffrey Epstein estate. Troutman Pepper Locke lawyers have provided various Epstein records to the House Oversight Committee following subpoenas. Now, there's not any suggestion that they've tried to cover anything up or deleted anything, okay? Some people have suggested that other people might be trying to cover up for Epstein from the outside. But it's not beyond the realm of possibility that David's father, Dawood Burke, has worked in some capacity on the Epstein files. There is a macabre irony in this, given the amount of joking in David's Discord server about Jeffrey Epstein, and even Celeste joking with David in a live stream together about David being a PDF, which prompted David to ask mods to delete everything in the stream video. People are saying, oh, that makes a whole lot of stuff that was possible just become probable. People are saying the actual fuck, no, I did not read that. Remember this. Legit insane connection. People saying that's a good article. Holy shit, you seem to dig up the best information out there. Unfortunately, all the pieces now fit to a tighter snug, with some remnants still missing. You've provided a necessary blueprint in all of this. I hope the authorities are aware of these connections, and if not, they should be. Thanks for your hard work. Reddit does it again. It all makes sense now. David knew exactly what he was doing, and knowing exactly who and what his dad is makes him feel invincible. I don't think that's true. People are saying, is this verified? Let's see. So look, this company does come up in things related to the Epstein files. This was like a controversial thing about the Epstein birthday book that, you know, apparently had a bunch of stuff in there from different people that had written him a birthday message on his 50th birthday. Okay. Basically, it was a commemorative book that was made for his birthday, and they've been trying to get hold of it. And it says the law firms holding it would have to comply with a congressional subpoena to obtain it. And it mentions the company here, Troutman Pepper Locke. Okay. Department of Justice had no comment, while attorneys for the journal's publisher, Dow Jones, and the Florida-based law firm Troutman Pepper Locke, which has been managing the Epstein estate, have been emailed for comment. They're the ones that are managing the estate, okay? And they basically are saying, look, they're trying to manage this estate the best they can. It says access to the book and what it contains will be a major development in Trump's lawsuit against the journal. It could also provide information about who Epstein's associates were, although any involvement would not be evidence of wrongdoing, okay? It's crazy, all right? The book made for his birthday was being held by his estate. They're saying Congress would need to issue a subpoena for their attorneys at Patterson or at Troutman. Those are the two law firms. I know those attorneys. They would turn the book over immediately. Nobody would have to guess. There wouldn't need to be a lawsuit. Troutman has previously represented Epstein's estate. All right? So look, there's no absolute direct connection between David's father and the Epstein estate specifically, but he does have expertise in e-discovery, and that is the company that is managing Epstein's estate. This is insane. This is actually complete insanity. I can't believe what I'm reading. Okay, but look, David's father, who knows if he's got anything to do with what's going on. I think it is really crazy that, you know, it seems like from those pictures from the Fonda Theatre that it appears, you know, in my opinion, from what I've seen, it appears that Celeste had spent time around the family. David's father wasn't there in any of I think David, I didn't see David's father in that picture where they're all sat in a line. They're saying it's David's mum and the brother and sister, and Celeste is sat between the siblings. But this is just crazy. This is dark. Okay, this thing just keeps getting darker and darker. It is actually insane, and I think we need an update, man. We need an update. We need to know who these people are that are, you know, not speaking to the grand jury, and, you know, there's talks of cover up and there's talks of accomplices. I just did a video on Queso's father snitching on him. Who knows? I don't know if David's father would snitch on him. Maybe David's father's helped him, but who knows? David's father could turn over and snitch on him, could say, oh, I found out something was going on. Who knows? All right. But I'll keep you guys updated. I just thought that was a crazy deep dive. I'm going to dig into David's mom at some point soon, because she was, they're saying she was there in the Fonda Theatre. So it's so crazy. It's just actually getting so insane. It's getting out of hand now. But look, I'll keep you guys updated. The Epstein connection is actually mind-blowing. I can't believe what I'm seeing. But let me know what you guys think down below, man. I'll be back with another video. It's been a busy couple of days, but I will be back. I got piles of content to put out there, man, and I'm going to keep you guys posted. So thank you for watching this one. I'll catch you in the next video, and I'm out. Peace.